This is Stan J. CATERBONE and the Advanced Media Group at 1250 Fremont Street, Lancaster, PA 17603. It's now 7:27 a.m. on Tuesday, January 18th, 2022. I'm in my home office basement. This is part 2 of my State of Affairs update that was done on January 16th. Now, part 2 is going to consist of my pending litigation. Now, in part 1, I went through the Sirhan amicus and read part of the amicus. Now, yesterday, I filed a motion for summary judgment in an injunction I filed in federal court back at the end of 2021 in December. Now, everything was filed electronically through an email. The U.S. District Court doesn't accept paper copies right now because of COVID. So, pro se, since my PACER account has been hacked since 2016, which would allow me to get dockets and file federally electronically, I have to do it by email. And that's the instructions as the U.S. District Court clerk. So I'm going to go through the injunction and what's taken place. Now, the injunction was filed in an effort to prevent and stop the computer hacking, the stalking, the harassing, vandalism and theft, so on and so forth. So I filed that, and on January 12th, a Miss Amy Worth from Philadelphia, an attorney, entered an appearance for the Lancaster City Police, and Barry Handwerger, the solicitor for the Lancaster City Police. Now, she filed an entrance of appearance, which means she's going to represent them in this case. But she also filed a motion for a jury trial. Now, I filed an injunction, which means I want the judge to rule right away on stopping these activities. Now, she filed a motion for a jury trial like I filed a lawsuit. It is not a lawsuit. So yesterday, I filed a motion for summary judgment. And I'm going to read my motion for summary judgment. I filed electronically through the emails. It went through. Now, there was a problem with some of my filings in that the clerk was saying, if you file something over 25 megabytes in Google Mail, they treat it as a link. In other words, it's not an attachment. Now, you still have to download both. So they were giving me a hard time saying that they couldn't read it. It wasn't a PDF, which it was. And I don't know if it was really a clerk or not. Anyway, aside from that, the fact is they broke my 2 printers in the past month, vandals. So I have no printing capabilities. So I'm going to read my motion for summary judgment. The cover page is case number 21-5683, U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania, and Judge Schmel has this case also. Now, he's had several of my cases. And now on this Monday, 17th day of January, 2022, I, Stanley J. CATERBONE, petitioner, filed this motion for summary judgment. Page 2, brief in support of summary motion. On Wednesday, January 12th, 2022, 7:28 p.m., I sent the following email to Amy G. Worth of the law firm of Cipriani and Werner of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Earlier that day, Ms. Worth filed an entry of appearance for the Lancaster City Police Department and solicitor Barry Handwerger. Ms. Worth also filed a motion for jury trial. This is a blatant attempt to continue the illegal COINTELPRO torture and PSYOPs program aimed at doing nothing less than at least obstructing justice and dismissing all civil legal claims against the city of Lancaster, the Lancaster City Police Department, and solicitor Barry Handwerger. Paragraph 2. In addition, the perps have amassed a total of sum of $70,000 in vandalism and thefts to my home, my office, and my possessions, including 2 printers in the last month. This now makes it impossible to print anything without leaving my home, which due to the vandalism of my 2004 Santa Fe in 2021 was sold. In addition, my mobility scooters have been vandalized, making the Red Rose transit system and a walker with 4 wheels the only means of transportation. In nice weather, it is a burden. In winter months, it is akin to house arrest. The option of using my Red Rose access privilege is now impossible due to the warning that services are delayed and disrupted due to staff shortages caused by COVID-19. Taxi services are impossible with the current and ongoing extortions of cash from my 2 banking accounts. Now, the email reads, what do you think I am? I filed an injunction to stop the dirty tricks of COINTELPRO, torture, computer hacking, threats on my life, obstruction of justice, etc., to be ruled on by the judge for emergency relief. This is not a civil complaint. Nice try. You are trying to complicit in the Lancaster City Police trying to kill me. Are you sure you have the right information? Now, in the bottom of the paragraph is a text box, and the text box reads, now again, what do you want? You, and this is regard to that Pennsylvania investigator that left his card on my door. I'll start in the beginning. Now again, what do you want? You, COINTELPRO idiots have been knocking on this door at 1250 Fremont Street since the early 1960s. First my dad, then my brother Sammy, then my brother Tommy, and now me. You know the investment in US-sponsored mind control the idiots have invested in this experimental non-consensual laboratory I call my home? Millions and millions of dollars, and not to mention the lives lost and family interrupted. And of course, the extortion of hundreds of millions of dollars of lost enterprises. Best of luck. You cannot have my pending litigation. It is mine, all mine. Page 3, certificate of service. Only possible by electronic means on or about Monday, January 17, 2022 to Ms. Amy G. Worth, Esquire, PA Attorney ID number 308984, 450 Century Parkway, Suite 200, Blue Ball, Pennsylvania 19422. Phone number 610-567-0700. Email aworth@c-wlaw.com. Attorney for Defendants, Lancaster City Police Department, and Barry Hamburger. Date Monday, January 17, 2022. Page 5, exhibit. Updated Stan J. CATERBONE, the Advanced Media Group, relief from the courts as evidence today, Sunday, January 16, 2022, whistleblower's version. So that ends it, and that was filed. Now, Judge Schmel had a couple of my cases, and what Judge Schmel does is he rules everything as far as frivolous. He'll say, well, the case is frivolous. He'll probably try to deny my informal pauperous, which was filed with the case. He's done this several times. Now, the Third Circuit does the same thing. If I take this, if I have to take it to the Third Circuit Court of Appeals, they'll say the same thing. Then I'll take it to US Supreme Court, and they just denied a case of mine, and they said the informal pauperous was denied, that I had to file for 30 copies and file filing fees because it's frivolous. In other words, they're saying everything I say is not true. It's delusional. They don't use the word delusional. They just say it's not true. So that's not going to work anymore because of the videos and all the support with the Havana syndrome, with the FBI, CIA, and State Department people getting hit with these microwave weapons. So it's going to be impossible for them to do that this time around. So we'll have to wait and see. The other problem is that a couple of weeks ago, there was an article in the paper about the Muniz case. Now, Muniz is the person that was shot and killed up on Laurel Street, I guess 2 years ago. Now, the Muniz family called crisis intervention. Now, the police showed up, and I did a video back then when it was going on about the arrest and what happened. What happened was only one policeman showed up. One policeman showed up and shot him dead. The problem is that when police show up for me, on phony fabricated 302s, there's at least 3 or 4. So I did a video on that, and I said I was going to send an amicus in. Now, Judge Schmel has that case also, just to give you an update on that case. Now, there's been 3 extortions of cash out of my banking accounts. The first was UPMC. Back about 3 or 4 weeks ago, my medications ran out for my anti-inflammatories. So I had to make an appointment with Judge Sparrow, my family physician. She's a UPMC family physician on Manheim Pike. Now, when I made the appointment, the only option online was to make a video appointment. Now, I didn't want a video appointment, and they recorded it as a video appointment and charged me $38. I canceled the appointment right away and called up and made an in-person appointment, but they never put the $38 back into my account. It took about 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, and then it showed up. It deleted from my Direct Express account, and the $38 went back in the balance. Now, that tells me that it was a hacker. It probably wasn't UPMC, because when I called UPMC to reverse the charge, they said they didn't see a charge. That's number one. Number two, back on November 22nd, a phony Walmart charge of $124.69 appeared in my PNC bank account, my checking account. That's been on there since November 22nd. I've been calling Walmart. I talked to federal law, I talked to law enforcement. I talked to the district attorney's office, the investigators. No one will do anything. It's still missing. That's $124.69. The third extortion is that back in December, for my Social Security disability, the U.S. Treasury took $219, and they said I owed that for my bankruptcy for the U.S. Trustee's office. Then I get a collection notice in the mail for the $216 saying I never paid it. So that's probably by a hacker. So there's 3 extortions of cash from my accounts. That's cash. So they're the extortions, and that has to stop. Now, real quick, something I want to go over. You people see me talking, and then I'll mouth what the person telepathically connected me will say. It'll sound like a different voice, but it's me. And what I'm doing is, rather than having everything silently telepathically, I talk out loud. That started back in Stonehill Road. It made it easier for me to deal with the telepathy. When I mouth what they say out loud, it's a little easier than keeping everything inside my mind. Now, that's not another person. It's not a possession. It's just me mouthing out loud what the person telepathically is saying. A lot of times you'll see me laughing. That'll be them laughing. Now, I'll be laughing with them, but it'll be them. So I just wanted to go over that. I made a video back in 2009. I made a 36-part series videos. Now, back then, YouTube videos were limited to, I think, 10 minutes. And I did a video on this. Now, in the original stalking charge, I also tried to enter this into court about telepathy. And Judge Reinecker denied it. He wouldn't let me talk about it. So that's just a little note about what you might see with all these illegal hidden cameras in my house, recording every move of mine and broadcasting it. Now, I have been in excruciating pain for weeks and weeks because my medications, my anti-inflammatories ran out. Then I go to make an appointment with Dr. Sparrow, and they said she was on vacation. So I was in excruciating pain. Then in my safe down in the basement, I found that I had about 25 of the older anti-inflammatories from October left. So I've been taking them. So I haven't been in as much pain. I haven't had to use my vibrating belt until today. Now, I started taking them about a week ago. So that's an update on my pain with my back and legs and everything else. The other thing is that I made the appointment with Dr. Sparrow and changed it to February 1st because of my current medications that I have. Now that appointment, I have to go in person. So I made the appointment February 1st, knowing that I'm going to have to take a taxi. I could take a bus, but inclement weather, and fact being that the bus stops right across from the Salvation Army store, I had to walk. That's about 3 blocks to walk. So I had to take a taxi. So that appointment has been moved to February 1st, 2022, just to give an update on the pain. I also did a video a while back about them gassing me and drugging me. So I'm not going to go over that again. The other important part of pending litigation is the Julian Assange case. They still didn't rule on Julian Assange. He's still locked up in prison over in Belmarsh prison in England. I filed an amicus in July of 2021, last July, and I filed it with the Department of Justice. And I have the USPS priority mail receipt. Now, Julian Assange has to be released. He has to be released sooner or later. The United States government is trying to extradite him back to America. If you don't know, Julian Assange started WikiLeaks. And way back when it started, he put up videos that were sent to him. It's not original. He only publishes what people give him. Get it? WikiLeaks whistleblowers were sending him information. And he published things about the war in Iraq and the drone strikes and things like that. So the US government took offense to it. He was in asylum for 10 years in England, wouldn't let him out because they tried to charge him with different charges. One was he sexually abused somebody, and then they put other charges on. They tried to file the espionage. They filed charges regarding the Espionage Act, the FISA court, and things like that. Now, he's had several appeals over there. And Stella Morris is his partner. They have 2 children together. And they recently just got permission to get married. So that is a case that I follow extensively. Now, the problem is that they want to extradite him to the United States and put him in prison for the rest of his life. But here's the kicker, what I just learned a week or so ago. The CIA can direct which prison he goes to. Now, these people are trying to kill me out of prison. There's no doubt in my mind that they will kill him if he's extradited to the United States and put in prison. No doubt in my mind. I'm living proof of it. I'm not even in prison, and look what they're doing to me. So that's another piece of litigation that I follow extensively. And the courts in England still have not made a final ruling. Now, Nils Meltzer, the UN rapporteur for torture, who I file extensively with, claims, and he takes claims from targeted individuals. He's been following extensively. He interviewed Julian Assange on several occasions, and he represents the Human Rights Council for the United Nations. The courts in England ignored him, just like they ignore everyone. So that's another case that is still being litigated, and we'll just have to wait and see. The Biden administration should do the right thing and drop the appeal and let him out of prison and free him. Another thing I want to mention is that tonight at 1 o'clock in the morning, I get my Social Security disability benefit. Now it goes directly into my Direct Express account, and I got a cost of living increase. So my new amount is $1,527 to me, net, to my account. So that comes tonight at 1 o'clock in the morning. I just wanted to mention that. The other thing with that is that my Direct Express debit card expires February 2022, which is coming up. So what I did 3 weeks ago is through my portal for Social Security Disability, I changed my deposit to PNC Bank. Now, PNC Bank does not let me make electronic transfers. I have to go into the bank physically and take money from my Direct Express card every month and put money in my PNC Bank account, because there's some things I need a checking account to pay from. I can't pay for my Direct Express account. So that's being changed. So starting in February, my direct deposit will go right into my PNC banking account. So I won't have to fool with the transfers anymore. Next important piece of litigation is my pending amicus and 9 motions in the Nicholas Cruz case. Now, the Nicholas Cruz case, the trial, the hearing for sentencing, which is the death penalty, doesn't start till February 22nd. And there is 9 motions down there pending. Now, Nicholas Cruz, in case you haven't done it, there was a video put out of an interview by the police hours after the shooting. Now, Nicholas Cruz killed 26 people down in Parkland High School. Now, recently, I think I went through this in the first video, the first update. They sued people, the families of the deceased sued the FBI. They sued the county, the school district, and others, and they settled. They got millions and millions of dollars in settlements. Now, the judge in the Nicholas Cruz case would not allow a third party to be named as far as being liable for the shooting, in part with Nicholas Cruz. Now, I filed a motion arguing that. If you watch the interview, Nicholas Cruz talks about the voices in his head. There is no doubt in my mind that he is a victim of these microwave weapons, synthetic telepathy. No doubt, 100% sure of it. He talks about the voices, one male, one female, just like my father did, just like I do, and just like other TIs do. So that is still pending. And that is a very important case. And everyone would love nothing more than to lock me up or put me in a psych ward and dismiss all my litigation. And that's what this is all about. Now, my brother Sammy, who was murdered Christmas Day of 1984, was on a conservatorship in California. Now, Britney Spears just got released from her conservatorship. And I filed a letter to her attorney back in 2017, claiming she's a victim. And there's no doubt in my mind, she's a victim. And her father might be a victim too. I think he is. There's always a lot of money involved with these cases. So that's another case, important case that I'm litigating. Now, the other important case, which I still keep on top of, is Lisa Michelle Lambert. I will get her out of prison. I will get her out of prison. She was victim to prosecutorial misconduct, just like I was. In fact, I believe she might have been a victim of these US-sponsored mind control programs. Now, she claims she was raped, which goes throughout these cases, and she actually won a settlement for being raped in prison. She got $35,000 a few years back because it was proven to be true. She was raped by a prison guard. Now, of course, I took her case to the U.S. Supreme Court in 2016. It was my first U.S. Supreme Court case. I filed an amicus. I filed an amicus for her second habeas case, which was filed in 2014. And I forget the judge's name on that case. Judge Diamond, I think it was. Anyway, I follow that case extensively. That's another piece of my litigation that's very important. And I send her letters and things like that. I never get replies. So that's another important case of my pending litigation. And the last piece is the Capitol riots. Back in July, I sent a letter and a DVD to Zoe Lofgren, who's the chair of the committee investigating the Capitol riots. I claim, and to this day, I still claim, that I think those people were hit with microwaves. I think they were hit in a way where it agitated them to do what they did. So that's another important piece. And I just finished an update on that case file. And I filed that as an affidavit in my case in Lancaster County Court of Common Pleas, which is the last case. I have a case in Lancaster County Court of Common Pleas, and I just filed an amended complaint a few weeks ago. And it's CATERBONE versus Duke Street Business Center et al. I filed that case in 2008, and I keep it going. It's still active and open. The judge is Judge Miller in that case. So that's the last piece of litigation I want to discuss today. It's now 7:59 a.m., Tuesday, January 18th, 2022. This is Stan J. Caterbone and Advanced Media Group at 1250 Fremont Street, Lancaster, Pennsylvania, 17603 in my home office basement. And this ends part 2 of my updated state of affairs of Tuesday, January 18th, 2022.